Hello and welcome to the best mods for Xbox PC, where we will be looking at some of the best mods to check out each and every single day, or at least that's the aim. There'll be something here for everyone, definitely worth checking out. Use the chapters where you need them. If you do get anything out of this, consider liking, subscribing. It goes a really long way. Appreciate your time. Let's get into it. Here we have a terrific gameplay mod. This one is called Immersion Leveled Enemies. This is probably one of the best mods we have in terms of enhancing the gameplay difficulty in the overall scheme of things, individually tweaking many of the different stats for NPCs, whether it be human or creatures. So let's take a bit of a closer look at how this mod works, just to get a good idea and a good feel, just so you can decide if you'd like to add this or not. One thing I immediately noticed with this mod is that the creatures tend to be much faster and much more aggressive in certain instances. What I loved about this is that, say when you're trying to escape in the sky, these guys are going to catch up and attack you while you're jetpacking around. Now, I don't remember that ever happening to this degree, so this is a lot of fun because it kind of adds like a new way of experiencing versus airborne creatures, just in the general sense of the game. So I really like this because yeah, they will pretty much follow you to very crazy heights. So no longer can you really outrun or escape a lot of the different creatures, and that's a huge highlight for me because it makes it much more engaging trying to defend yourself against all the various flying creatures in the game. Now you'll notice that a lot of the creatures will be bigger and sometimes a bit of a mixture of sizes to indicate, similar to other mods we've covered, sort of like a family grouping, so they're not just all the same size. That will depend on the planet where you are and what creatures you come across. The other thing I like is that the enemies are definitely much harder, do more damage, but they're also not complete bullet sponge. And this goes for the NPCs and the creatures, but it does increase the difficulty quite substantially as the leveling is done more on an individual basis. And here I am 80 and this guy is 120, and then we have a guy over here at 114. So for the testing of the levels increasing with yours, I've just jacked my level up to 100. So it certainly increases all the NPCs as you level up, and this infinitely scales. So this means combat is always going to be so much more engaging, bountiful, and just more enjoyable. It also seems like some of the NPCs spawn a bit more common. And as for the different sizes, this is a good example where they are slightly different sizes, but definitely adding to the immersion, making things much more realistic, like a bit of a family herd unit going on. Now this should impact pretty much every single type of creature you can come across in the known universe. Another awesome thing this mod does is all alien creatures would take the same amount of damage wherever you hit it. There wasn't any bonus for hitting headshots or anything. This mod will reward you for being able to hit the head and deal 1.5 the damage versus just the normal 1.0, which adds a lot more reward to be able to hit the head in a lot of the scenarios. So summary for the aliens, they have more health, they're faster, they scale better with your level. Generally, the whole experience is just overall improved and made much more rewarding experience. But however, do note that in the beginning stages, it is much harder to engage these creatures without some decent weapon and armor. Now, when it comes to the Starborn, Terramorph will all be scaling and leveling to your actual level. There is no caps as far as I'm aware. This makes the whole experience much more engaging, particularly when it comes to Starborn, making these engagements much more realistic and challenging, especially when they're all grouped together, but also not being complete bullet sponges. One excellent aspect to this change is that when you hit an NPC humanoid Starborn in the head, you will be rewarded by doing 2.5 damage. This kind of balancing to me makes the most sense as well, just because you should be rewarded for being able to hit the head of your enemy. Do keep in mind, this will all be relative to your perk level and what you're dishing out. The mod is called Immersive Leveled Enemies, and this is by JDL. Now, it's recommended for the load order is to load this later or much lower in your load order. There are very few cases where you want this mod to be overwritten by another mod. So if you are using a few different mods that are making game changes to enemies or to the creatures, you'd probably want to put this one last or below them. There will be some cases where that's not always going to be the correct order, but that's the general rule of thumb. This is probably one of the best sort of game-changing mods we have on creation in terms of editing the whole experience of engagement in combat, whether it be in NPCs or creatures. It's a huge win for us all. If you're looking for a much more challenging experience in Starfield, this is going to be the mod to try. Definitely making you really rethink your strategy, engage and connect much more with the overall progress and exploration of the whole game. Highly recommended mod, adds so much value. Let's keep moving. And just before we go, I find this next mod gloriously helpful. If you've ever gone to use an item from your inventory, particularly aid items, scrolling down to try to apply the one that you need, well, the next mod is going to eliminate eliminate that process by pretty much applying the most important aid item automatically when you need it at a click of a button. This mod is originally done by Wartortle, but it was ported over by Nighthawk and it's called SmartDoc. To get us going with this one, we will first go to our aid items, seek out the SmartDoc, and we're going to put that into our quick slot. You can see here I've got some fractured bones and I need some medical attention. We're also going to take some damage just so I can give you a good illustration of how this all works. So you're in the heat of the battle and you quickly need to take multiple different emergency aid items. Now the cool thing about this mod is that we can go to our quick slot, select it. Now by default, the most important thing you probably want it to prioritize is health, and that's exactly what it's going to do. It's going to prioritize speed of healing. Things like emergency kit and trauma packs will be the first thing. So we're going to take it, we're going to use it once, and you can see it is automatically used one of the emergency kits. Now that we have full health, let's see if we can get it to cure our elements. So we're going to use it again. Oh, and we currently don't have an item for the different afflictions. So terrific. It's prioritized healing. Now the good thing is when you're in combat, it's going to prioritize the items that are actually going to heal you the quickest. When you're out of combat, it will then prioritize healing items that take longer to heal you or heal over a period of time. This takes a lot of the guesswork and annoyance of navigating the menu, but not only that, if you have the correct items in your inventory, it will heal other ailments. So we've demonstrated that this terrific mod is going to help you easily navigate and select the best possible choice for your healing in combat and when you're out of combat. How about when you have afflictions? Well, the same thing applies. We are going to use it once, which will prioritize healing our health. And then if we use it again soon after, it's going to also prioritize healing us with the other different items that will cure us of all the different ailments. I freaking love this idea. I find this very, very helpful because it was always, as after playing this game a lot, you will find yourself getting a little bit annoyed with the current menu and how it works. Having to scroll through to find the various different aid items can be a little bit of a headache. This takes all the guesswork out of it. But not only that, we can actually configure this to prioritize items a little bit differently. To reconfigure the customization, we can go to Reliant Medical in New Atlantis. Once you're at Reliant Medical, we just want to head through into the actual property. And once we're in here, we just want to go to SmartDoc, activated that again. Now do note, you will be greeted with this menu when you first use this mod for the first time. I recommend just using default. It covers all the bases. However, we can go customize and we'll be presented with two options where we can use the cheaper option, med pack first, then prioritize trauma pack and emergency kit. Whereas the best is going to use it is going to switch that priority and give you the quickest, fastest emergency kit, trauma pack, med kit. So depending on what you're after. However, it doesn't give any optionality when considering your other ailments. However, that would be quite a complicated thing to try navigate as there's quite a few different scenarios, parameters kind of consider. So right now, how it's set up is kind of perfect in my mind. Find this to be a very helpful mod, really speeding up the process of using your aid items. A really helpful mod. Let's keep going. We're heading to Aquila City in search of an epic weapon that can be found at the hitching post. And this sniper rifle has a very appealing look. It can be found sitting on the bench right there. This rather clever looking sniper rifle is the RK-1M Legendary Sniper Rifle by CDX Mod. This is a standalone. There is a custom texture for this, but it's not released as of yet. By the time you watch this, it may well be. This takes the 50 caliber ammo, comes with 300 physical damage, comes with 2 times reloading speed, good for a range of I have an issue with my zoom, but it has a good zoom and it's got superb range between the 60 and 100 meter mark. Weapon feels awesome. It has a really nice sound to it, pretty damn good pinpoint accuracy, and with the scope, this is a phenomenal sniper. For my preference, I always like the snipers to have a bit more damage. This damage is a little bit underwhelming. However, where this weapon comes short on damage, it just does well with how it feels, being very pinpoint accurate. And for some, this may be a perfect choice as it's just not a complete overkill. And where it lacks in damage, it definitely makes up for overall look and appeal. It's an extremely long and potent weapon, giving you 6 rounds and firing quite quickly for a sniper rifle, and not to mention that it reloads very, very fast. So perhaps to balance out its lack of damage, you can reload pretty much within the blink of an eye. Overall, a really outstanding weapon. Potentially just needs a bit of a damage boost. When it comes to upgrading, there are minimal options. You won't be able to upgrade the barrel, optics, or muzzle. However, you can still change the internals, magazine, and battery, and there will be a different skin at some point, I believe. However, overall, this is a fun weapon to use. Definitely recommend it. We don't get a lot of sniper rifles, so I always appreciate when we get beast of weapons like this. Another great weapon to check out. Let's keep moving. we're going to make a quick pit stop at Narian, where it all began at the Argos extraction mining outpost, which will probably bring back some memories. And we're just going to whip around and find the pre-built to find the J-Type 327 Nubian Royal Starship by Electione Star. However, for many of you who wanted to not have to have the fuss of actually putting this together yourself, well, now you have that excellent option, and this has all been redone for Xbox and PC. Simply hit that switch there and the beast is yours. Keep in mind, you don't really want to be using companions on this vessel. However, it's probably going to handle them a lot better than some of the other Star Wars ships, as it is a bit bigger, but it does look quite nice, and it's going to be a nice little fast ship, I imagine. So a very responsive ship. It does have a custom sound for one of the weapons, and when it comes to speed, this thing has a very high top speed. You'll be able to blast away from your enemies at a little breakback speed, reaching up to 4,000. However, you have to check out the cockpit. It looks awesome. Very nicely done. Very nice Star Wars edition. Feels fantastic. Let's keep moving. Here we have the bookshelf display enhanced by WinAddict. This adds 4 new different bookshelves that actually give a lot more meaning to hanging onto your books by being able to display these within your outpost and I believe even your ship. This is really neat because a lot of the times you don't really worry about books. You don't have any kind of interaction with them for the most part. You read them once and that's kind of it. This is neat because it just gives them a little bit more meaning, being able to display them. Now do note the bookshelf antique doesn't seem to display them just yet. The brass diamond does. The bookshelf for the lodge, that also displays the book. And then we have these neat little wall mounted bookshelves, the metal wall mounts. These will display books as well. It's another neat little display mod. Let's keep moving. We are getting a little bit closer to being able to take some of our gear through the Unity, thanks to a mod called Wartortle's Take Items Through Unity, ported over by Nighthawk, with the intention of trying to let us carry some of our personal items through to the next playthrough. The intention here is to allow us to bring our armor, weapon, any Nero amp, and some of the ammo back with us through the Unity. Now I've got some legendary stuff attached, so we're going to just head through the Unity and see how this all works out to be. Do note you can't bring your ship with you, of course. It won't take any attachments that aren't pure vanilla. Keep in mind this will not work with any of the Dark Star mods. It will try to keep all your vanilla mods intact, but it isn't always 100%. Now I do have SKK's mod on, so it'll be interesting to see how this all pans out. Okay, so we've gone through the Unity. Let's see if we have kept any of our items or gear. Okay, it doesn't look like it's worked. I'm going to try without SKK's mod on. This time we've disabled SKK's mod, so we're just going to try walk through the Unity again and see if this works. Noting the armor and weapons that we currently have attached. Okay, this was interesting. So we've loaded in this time without SKK's mod. There might be a load order that will get them working together, but it looks like we've actually maintained some of our clothing that we had on. Hey, okay, so it looked like we kept some clothing. We kept some of our ammo, but it's a bit hit and miss. This is going to take a little bit more testing. And okay, so we're going to try it one more time. We've got a weapon equipped, got some armor. I've unequipped the clothing. So let's see how this holds up. Now, I wonder about the automatic helmet thing because my helmet's off. So perhaps that has something to do with it. A bit hard to figure it out, but we'll just try one more time. Yeah, unfortunately, no luck. Maybe the other SKK mod is interfering with it as it's dropping other items in. But yeah, unfortunately, I can't give you a clear scenario when this is working properly. But let me know if you've done some testing and how it all goes for you, or if you know how this should probably work. I'll pin it in the comments if we figure it out. But it's getting a little bit closer to allowing us to bring stuff from one playthrough to another. Now, I believe there's a Dark Star mod that can do this as well, or there is another mod that's available, but that's only on PC at the moment. So it'd be interesting once we get one for Xbox. Very interesting mod. We'll keep our eyes out, but something you may want to try or test out. Just make sure you save the game before you do this, just so you can keep trying to get the items across. Save it in the Unity. Outside that, it's a very interesting and hopefully very useful mod in the future. We're heading to Aquila City, then we're going to go to the Tracker Alliance base. Once we're in, we're just heading down to where we can buy weapons using the currency Astra. And we're going to come down and talk to Stash. Now with Stash, we can trade 3 Astra to receive a legendary weapon or armor or jetpack. Now there is also a small chance, 33% chance to receive one of the 9 unique aspirational weapons that you only find from Stash himself. Don't believe you'll find them in this configuration, at least anywhere else. Now, the only unfortunate thing about receiving these rare aspirational weapons is that you will only receive them with 2 legendary traits. However, this mod will add an additional trait to all of these pretty rare aspirational weapons. I believe you can get all of these quite quickly in the cheat room mod. However, rolling these quite rare. You can spend an hour and only get 1 if you're lucky. And this is a prime example. So here we have the live wire. Normally this would only have 2 legendary traits, but this mod will make it 3. And in some cases, it will change the traits to make them an overall better experience with the weapon. So in this case, the mod adds extended mag and rapid to this weapon. However, do note all the other legendaries that you get from this will have 3 traits. For whatever reason, the 9 aspirational ones didn't. And this mod simply adds it. This is a really good lore-friendly boost to your hard-earned Astra when spending them to get legendary drop. This mod is called Legendary Aspiration Weapons Stash Unique Improvements, and this is by Samantha Says TV. Really like this mod. This is a great addition. Let's keep moving. And while we're covering the Tracker Alliance and Samantha Says TV, we have another mod that is called Creation Loot Tracker Alliance, the Vulture. This is a really nice lore-friendly mod, which is going to allow the extreme temperature spacesuit to be distributed to vendors, and also can drop from NPCs, be found in chest traits, and basically be found throughout the universe just like you would. It can be legendary and have a random mixture of traits. Same will be for the Arc Might Plasma Cutter. This will be distributed throughout the universe, vendors, NPCs, pretty much just functioning exactly like you expect any weapon to. And the big one for me is having the Arboron Nova Strike Sniper in the same category, being distributed alongside the Hard Target. This will be available at level 32 and above, and will have random mods and legendary traits scattered across the universe, vendors, NPCs, chests, traits, you name it. It is a bit crazy to me that this is not something that comes standard with the Tracker Alliance update itself, but in any case, this is a huge win. Now you can find these weapons in the universe with legendary traits. We have a point of interest mod that can only be found in the Nerian system on Samarti. So you can see here we have the GalBank Cold Storage Facility mod by Cronupses. Do note this mod currently does not support the point of interest project. Hopefully we do get a version of that later down the track, but let's go check this out. Okay, so I've landed, but it appears to be a bit glitched out. I'm just gonna have to change the load order and see if that fixes it. Okay, I couldn't get this to work. It could be because I have too many mods installed. I'm not exactly sure. However, I can still show you this area just by doing a little bit of a cheat. So it does look like it's there. It's just spawned underground. Looks like it's got some turrets protecting it, but let's go check it out. So this is the GalBank Cold Storage Facility. So this is pretty cool. Now it'd be nice to see, oh, there's a dead Terramorph in here. Whoa, you got an advanced lock on this door and another dead Terramorph. You got an expert lock here, and this room is absolutely stashed with so many different weapons. There is so much loot in this place. This is crazy. Oh boy, look at this room. This is incredible. It's got tons and tons of credits. What? And there's another room with credits. Whoa. Oh wow. And there's another cold storage of Astra. This is awesome. This is like a jackpot kind of point of interest. Would be really nice to see this above ground and integrated into the point of interest project, but hopefully this will be fixed by the time you check this out. But I highly recommend it, especially because I believe you're going to have to fight some Terramorphs to get some of this awesome gear. Cool mod. I look forward to seeing many more of these. Nice mod. Let's keep moving. In New Atlantis Spaceport, you will find 2 suits and a helmet. This is what some have been waiting for. This is our first, adding some glorious Dalek armor skins that you can wear. We have the new series Dalek, and these models are superb. Definitely an excellent job. Now you can notice straight away that we'll have the jetpack and gun kind of coming through, so it's not the most perfect armor mod, but it sure is probably one of the best ones we have. They look phenomenal. Now you are able to obviously unequip your jetpack to make it look a little bit more seamlessly, and you can also, with what is included in this mod, use the invisible helmet to make sure that the helmets aren't clipping. As say if you can kind of see this one clip a little bit here. That's why the invisible helmet should remove any of that kind of clipping. However, there is currently no solution to do that for both jetpack and helmet, not included in this mod just yet. Also included is the Imperial Dalek, another fantastic armor skin. This is what it looks like when you're running around, but it's still pretty cool. It's a bit fun. What I would suggest is there's a combination of mods where you could use this basically on an R2D2 unit or one of the cleaning droids and just give this as a skin and equip it. It should then work a bit more realistically and just have it as a companion. The other option is to get your teammates and equip it to your teammates. Here's a good example of why you would have the no invisible helmet on as well, just so you could get rid of the clipping out of the helmet. Otherwise, this is a terrific first installment covering Doctor Who mod, and the models look fantastic. I'll just show you what it looks like when we shoot. So this is kind of what it will look like when you're shooting, firing around. If you go into first person, then this is kind of what you're looking at. And if you have a scope, you still zoom in and it doesn't really interact or cause any issues. You will notice that the gun pokes out, but that's okay. It's kind of just sort of sitting over you. In any case, I really like this. This is awesome to see our first Daleks in Starfield. Thank you very much for watching. If you get anything out of this, consider liking, subscribing, commenting. Let me know what you think about some of these mods. You can let me know what mods you'd like me to cover, or if there's anything on your mind, just drop it in the comment. Thanks again, and peace.